Okay, there you go. So when I was thinking of what project I can give to my scholars during this time, so I'm thinking, what are their daily activities? Because most of my scholars are doing remote learning, so I have only a few scholars in my classroom. So what is meaningful to them? So I decided to do the conserving energy, saving power is also save money saver. So we did the project, and this is our question, which is why is it important to conserve energy? So we discussed this one because we have also a topic in ELA about this one. Our content is science, and then it will also connect to our social studies, which is also economic, which is spending and saving money. So I put a standard in here in science, and then it's also into standards of ELA about writing, and also in math about analytical, analyzing and interpreting data. Same with in math, which is their computational skill in multiplication, rounding off, and decimal. So it's like interdisciplinary also because we're bringing all the subjects in here. So I give these objectives to my scholars. So scholars can explain the relationship of appliances and devices because they're working at home most of the time, and many of them are remote. So they're using their laptops and other devices in order to join our class. So they have to know the relationship of that devices they're using, the watts, and the duration of the usage of it, and the cost of that usage, and the awareness of conserving energy and determine energy saving techniques. So when I talk to my scholars, when I present to my scholars, they said, but Miss, we're not paying the bills at home. Our parents are the one paying it. And they don't even share to us how much. And I said, even though your parents are paying that one, you should be aware how much you are using every day when you are attending our class, or even during Saturday that you are using your other devices. So some of them are, but yes, we don't know how much they're paying. So we just keep on discussing about it one for their awareness of the usage and the cost of the power or energy that you're using every day. So I give them the task. So they need to choose which device or appliance they usually use at home. So most of my scholars are they choose their laptops because that's the one that you're using every day, Monday to Friday. And then they have to identify the device's kilowatt, watt, and compute its energy usage per day for a week. I just give them for a week because it's too long for a month for them to keep on computing every day. So now what they did is, since most of them are using computers, all they need to do is look at the charger and they can see how many watts in there. And then I give them also how to compute it, and there's only one device for them. And then they have to record the data for 7 days. And I provide them the table, but the challenges that we faced at the time was that many of my scholars, what do you call this one? Not working. They cannot screenshot the one that I sent to them. They cannot retrieve the documents. So I told them to use Word document to put their tables and their computation. And then some of the scholars sent it to me by Google Docs, and I cannot retrieve it because it says access denied. So parents, I still receive some communication. The parents, like 2 nights ago, and said, Miss, what can we do? Because what are the other ways that we can share you their output? And I said, that's fine. It's okay, as long as they can share it to the class. So now after that one, they have to write their conclusion, their input, their learnings, and recommendations on energy conservation of the project. And then how they can share this information to their parents, to their families, and to others. So here is the data, the table that I gave to them. I give them the example. And then one of the day, I think it was, this week, one of the teacher came to our classroom and we were discussing this project. And she was talking, I even put it in my slide, the narrative for that one, because I did not take the picture. So she also joined our discussion, and she have a conversation with my scholars about how the project is going. And then she also shared her own realization of how much energy she's using at home also. And she showed the computation to my scholars that, oh, I'm using my ceiling fan for 24 hours a day. And the ceiling fan watts is this one. So she showed the computation to the board, to my scholars. And she showed also how much she is spending per day and multiplied it into 30 days. So my scholar said, so this is how much you're paying for a month for that one appliance. So it came to the awareness of the scholars that, oh, so this is what are paying for just one appliance. And then how much more if you have more at home? How much are they paying for that one every day that they are using? So it was really a good conversation. And my scholars also having their own conversation in online, because of course we have simultaneous teaching with the online and the in person. So here is the question that I gave to my scholars when we're doing their activities. So based on the project that you just did, what are your input and conclusion? And they have to give at least some techniques that they can share to conserve energy and to save money. And what are the next steps for that one? And how are they going to share this information to their family and others? So that's what we did. They did share this to other class, fifth grade class in our classroom when we're doing the project. And then of course, one of the teacher came to join our class, and we've shared that one already. So this is one of my students' output, and he was sharing it to the entire class. So I only asked one appliance or one device, but my scholar, this one, Jacob, he did like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 appliance to show to his classmates how much that cost, how the power usage and how much it costs per day. And then you can see the computation there and how much they're paying for that one, multiplied it for 7 days within a week. And then those are his answers that shared to the classmates. And many of the scholars agree to that one, which is really good because they became aware of their responsibilities, that they need to know how much power they're using and how can they help their family in saving power and saving money too. And then the last one is, this is our next step. So we're not done with this project yet. So they have to share, they will follow their techniques on saving power because they said they have to minimize the number of hours they're using at home. And then they will compare the result of their observation using the energy bill that they have from the previous month and this month to find out if there's really a difference when they use the techniques of minimizing the number of hours. And then they have to share it to the class, and the time frame will be next week for sharing before the end of the school year, to make sure that scholars can see and be aware of the reality of, how to save money and what they are facing at this time, especially pandemic time that they stayed at home, and they should be responsible of using their devices also. Yeah, that's our project. Short and simple, but for me, it's very meaningful to my scholars. And as for the parents, I want them to join also with our conversation, because they need also to share this to their scholar, to their child, to make them aware and to share the burden of saving money for the family.